Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Very exciting today. I have a very special guest and good friend of mine who's also a firearms instructor and has his own school as well. So let's get started. All right, guys, I'm pleased to welcome Roger Martin. Roger, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
I met Roger and I met about what about a year, you think?
About 10 months.
10 months. Okay, 10 months at a firearms training course, and yeah, the firearms community, we're all tight knit, and so anytime you get an opportunity to meet people, it usually turns into something. And of course, Roger has his own deal going now, and he's an instructor as well. So I figured we'd do a little collaboration.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Roger. Well, why don't you tell the folks at home a little bit about your background?
Well, I started when I got out of high school. I joined the United States Army Infantry. Probably because it was the only thing that they let me do, that I could carry a gun every day. Before that, I was a hunter with my grandparents. Used to teach me how to hunt. And then after I got out of the Army, I lived in Germany for a couple of years,
oh, wow.
which was nice. I lived there when the wall broke down in 1988 to 1990, wow. Which was really fun. And then when I came back, I didn't know what I was going to do. What else would let me carry a gun around and deal with people on a regular basis? So I went into police work, and I got my associate's degree at Lakeland Community College.
Okay.
And the police academy had a program that I got that at the same time, at that same moment. Wow. So I was 22 years old, and I was already a veteran. I had my associate's degree, and I had my police academy training. Cool. So then I got a job, and I did that for the next 20-something years, and then I'm retired now.
Right, right on.
It was awesome.
So Roger, I understand when you were with law enforcement, you decided to get into SWAT. What made you decide to do that?
Well, I got into SWAT because one, I could play with bigger weapons and more firepower, which is always a good thing. But the SWAT teams are the people who the police call when there's a big issue. Right. And I like the fact that, hey, I worked in a nice quiet suburb, but the SWAT team was, anytime there was something major came around, we were allowed to go play and do our training with that, and get our situation done. It also is it's the most rush, and I'm an adrenaline junkie by nature.
I would imagine.
But there's nothing more adrenaline like, a hostage situation or anything like that, to get your body ready. I mean, you're really tensed up.
Right.
And the training is what makes you get to that point and know exactly what you're supposed to do and do it well. And we've been lucky that the whole time we were on there, we handled some tough situations, and no one ever got hurt, at least from our end of the spectrum. So worked out well. So
now, when you became a SWAT officer, how did your training differ as a SWAT officer as a regular police officer?
Well, the training, first off, you have to go to a 2 to 3 week course, which is a lot of basic maneuvers, basic techniques and tactics. And it was neat because I came out of the Army. When I got out of the Army, I'm like, I know most things about tactics and stuff. Right. It's an entirely different event when you're dealing with training in cities all the time. I was in we were in the woods for most time. Well, these guys were in city, we're doing city stuff. So we have to base that training on those types of situations. Sure. And boy, they beat you into it. Some of the old SWAT guys get a hold of you at the beginning, and they're like, hey, this is like basic training, and we're going to beat you up. They give you a stupid nickname. They make you walk through a creek, as a team building exercise, just to make you miserable and shoot. Right. And then after that, you get on the departments. A lot of departments have their own little SWAT teams, and they don't get the training they need. 3 hours, 4 hours a month. Wow. But the new standard is now, 8 hours a day, 2 8-hour days every month. Okay. Well, now you're getting 16 hours of training every month, and that's really what it comes down to, and you can see the difference. Sure. The amount of capability, the different stress level, the people's mentality, it just really hones in, and it all comes down to training. Sure. The more you train, the better you're going to be when stuff hits the fan. And so is your round count much higher then? We on the SWAT team, we would end every training. There's some police departments when you're not on the SWAT team, that they might only shoot 4 times a year.
Right.
50 bullets.
To qualify.
50 bullets 4 times a year. I'm like, I do that now in a bad week.
Right.
I'm just saying, and I'm retired.
Sure.
But on the SWAT team, we would have a competition or something at the end of the day, just so all the guys can blow off a little.
Right.
You hold a bunker for 6 hours in training, and you want to blow out. Can I do something fun?
Right.
And the MP5s and the new M4s, they really do it.
I'm sure they do.
Absolutely.
So now that you're retired, what do you have any plans?
Other than the boat that's taking all of my money, I opened a company, started a company called Defense Doctor. We do a lot of training. We do the concealed carry courses, which is where we met, learning that part of the aspect of it. I've since become a private investigator.
Oh, wow.
A private investigator's license. I've got my armed security license because I would like to do some dignitary protection type stuff.
Right.
Close quarter, some people need people to protect them.
For sure.
And,
no doubt.
And nothing better than having a good trained person to do that. But we do also active killer response training. We do the policy creation for companies if they need it. A lot of places are getting sued. Even the Aurora out there at Colorado, where in the movie theater, those guys, some of the people are getting sued because you should have known. What did you do? They're letting them sue under other aspects of the law, other than just, hey, we didn't know it.
Right.
You can get sued for slipping on an icy in the hallway, so everybody's doing that. This just helps some of the companies barrier themselves and train their people. I'm an ALICE instructor, which is we go to the schools and teach some of the teachers and faculty, hey, this is what's going to happen. Right. It's amazing what distracting somebody will do if they're trying to shoot. Right. We know from experience, both of us, that you need to breathe and all that stuff. Well, when someone's throwing bullets at you, the pucker factor kicks in, your heart beats about 600 miles an hour, and we just try and give you some options that, hey, he's doing that, you're doing that, there's some ways that we can handle it. So we do a lot of the defense stuff. I called it Defense Doctor because we're going to be the ultimate defense stop for anybody that needs anything. The website's coming. We're almost done. Well, good. And there'll be links on there, so they'll be able to get to that. So they'll be able to get on there. We have a Facebook page and that kind of stuff. But other than that, I'm just trying to educate people to keep them safe. Sure. I mean, and so who is it? Anyone can come train with you? Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, we do. Most of our target audience we do corporate, but I created a defense series called Common Sense Defense. Sure. Which isn't so common. That's why we're trying. They say you can't teach common sense. Well, we're going to try. We're going to do our best. And I have self-defense for women and teen classes, for girls going off to college. Great. For women, and on most of it, as we know, situational awareness is the #1 thing we teach in that class. Absolutely. It's based PowerPoint and then some hands-on. We're not trying to teach them, grappling hooks, and, arm bars and stuff like that, but quick jab, getaway, pepper spray, knuckles, stuff, little hand defense tactics. We bring in some pretty neat people. Cool. It's a fun time. That's great. Sounds exciting. Absolutely. Roger, why do you think firearms training is so important? Well, Neil, the firearms training is important because we know that in any stress situation, we're going to revert back to how we have been prepared before that. So the training becomes essential because if we don't have that training, we're not going to respond properly when stuff really hits the fan. And most of the time, that's what I prepare most of my clients for, is defense training, as opposed to, we can do marksmanship training and try and make you a better shooter, dotting eyes from 100 yards. But we work on close quarter stuff, more realistic tactical training. Hey Roger, I really appreciate you coming. Thanks again. Thanks for having me. Absolutely. Everything was outstanding. Fantastic. Appreciate it. And as you guys know, go ahead and look at the bottom there. We have all the links that you can go ahead and reach out to Roger. Obviously, if you have any questions, you want to take any training, that's where you'll go.